Let me ask you something. How many years did you spend in school? 10? 12? Maybe 16, 17 years if you went to university. And in all that time, all those classrooms, all those textbooks, all those exams, did anyone ever sit you down and teach you how money actually works? Not how to earn it, not how to pass a math test about it, but how it moves, how it multiplies, how it disappears, quietly, invisibly, while you're working harder than you've ever worked in your life. Nobody taught us that. And that silence, that gap, it has cost millions of ordinary people, people just like you and me, decades of financial progress. Today, we're filling that gap. I want you to think about someone in your life. Maybe it's your mother, your father, an uncle, a neighbor, someone who worked hard their entire life, woke up early, came home late, never complained, did everything society told them to do. Get a good job, save what you can, don't overspend. And yet, somehow, they arrived at 60 or 65 with not much to show for it. Maybe still renting, maybe depending on their children, maybe one medical bill away from crisis. That is not laziness. That is not stupidity. That is what happens when an entire generation is handed a rule book that was written by people who already had money and never updated for people who were starting from nothing. The painful truth is this: the rules you were taught about money were designed for survival, not for wealth. Work hard, survival. Save 10% of what you earn, survival. Don't take risks, survival. And if all you ever do is survive, you will spend your whole life one emergency away from collapse. I'm not saying this to make you feel bad. I'm saying this because the moment I understood it, the moment I realized I wasn't failing, I was just playing the wrong game, everything changed. So let's talk about the game nobody showed us. Lesson 1. Your income is not your wealth. Most of us were taught to chase income, get a raise, find a better paying job, work overtime. But income is just water flowing into a bucket. If your bucket has holes, rent, subscriptions, lifestyle inflation, debt, it doesn't matter how fast the water flows in, it will always run out. Wealth is not how much you earn. Wealth is how much you keep and what you make that money do. The first question you need to ask yourself every single month is not, how much did I make? It's, how much did I keep and where did it go? Lesson 2. There are only 3 things money can do. Money can be spent, money can be saved, or money can be invested, put to work to make more money without you lifting a finger. Most of us were only taught the first 2, but wealthy people think in the third category first. Before they pay for anything else, before lifestyle, before comfort, before wants, they take a portion of every dollar that comes in and they deploy it into index funds, into assets, into businesses, into things that grow. This is called paying yourself first, and it is the single most important financial habit you can build. Even if it's $20 a month, even if it's $5, the habit matters more than the amount at first. Lesson 3. Debt is not the enemy. Dumb debt is. There are 2 kinds of debt. Debt that costs you money, credit cards, buy now, pay later schemes, loans for things that lose value the second you buy them, and debt that makes you money, a loan to start a business, a mortgage on a property that generates rent, financing for tools that increase your income. The rich use debt as a tool. The rest of us were taught to fear all of it equally. Start learning to tell the difference. Lesson 4. Your network is a financial asset. In most formal education, this is never said out loud. The people around you determine your financial ceiling. Not because of nepotism, though that exists, but because of opportunity, information, and access. The person who learns about a business opportunity first wins. The person who gets introduced to the right investor wins. The person in the room where decisions are made wins. Deliberately build relationships with people who are doing what you want to do. Read what they read. Go where they go. Ask better questions. Your network is not just social, it is financial infrastructure. Lesson 5. Inflation is a silent tax on the unbothered. Every year, the purchasing power of money sitting idle in a standard savings account shrinks. If inflation is running at 5% and your savings account pays you 2%, you are losing 3% of your wealth every single year. Not because you did anything wrong, just because you left it there. This is why keeping all your money in cash, while it feels safe, is actually a slow leak. You don't have to become a stock market expert overnight, but you do need to understand that doing nothing is not a neutral decision. It is a choice to fall behind. Lesson 6. The most expensive thing in the world is a low financial IQ. Not designer clothes, not luxury cars, not knowing how compound interest works, not knowing what an expense ratio is, not knowing the difference between an asset and a liability. Every year you go without this knowledge costs you money. Silently, invisibly, in opportunities you didn't take, in fees you overpaid, in returns you never earned. Financial education is not a luxury. It is the highest return investment available to any human being on earth. And the best part, most of it is free. Books, podcasts, videos, communities. The information exists. The question is whether you'll take it seriously enough to seek it out. Here's what I want you to walk away with today. You are not behind because you are lazy. You are not broke because you are stupid. You were handed an incomplete education and then judged by results it could never produce. But here's the thing about incomplete information. Once you have the information, you have no more excuses. Starting today, you get to rewrite the rules. You get to decide that every dollar that enters your life will be directed with intention. You get to decide that you will learn one new financial concept every week. You get to decide that the generation that comes after you, your children, your siblings, the people you love, will not have to unlearn what you had to unlearn. That is the real inheritance, not just money, knowledge about money. Because here's what they never taught us, and what I need you to hear clearly. Wealth is not luck. It is not genetics. It is not reserved for people from certain countries or certain families. Wealth is a skill set, and skills can be learned at any age, in any city, with any starting point. The game is not over. For most of us, it hasn't even properly begun. So start today with one decision, one shift, $1 put somewhere with purpose. That's how it starts. That's always how it starts.